Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live, and we are so excited to be delving into a very unique conversation this evening with Botshelo Mthomboti, who is an extraordinary young woman who is redefining the world of accounting and mathematics through poetry. Now, just 22 years old, she is a financial management graduate and a current Bachelor of Accounting Sciences student, and an accountant at Chokes Chartered Accountants. Now, she's also the CEO of Poetic Finance Books and Novels Pty Limited, where she uniquely blends her passion for numbers with the art of poetry. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live this evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, just the sound of maths and accounting gives a lot of people a lot of anxiety, and it can quite feel really, really intimidating, but you found a way to turn it into something beautiful. Now, to start off our conversation this evening, let's talk a bit more about why you chose to merge the art of poetry with something as complex as accounting and mathematics.
Firstly, I realized that, most of my books, they cover skills that are in demand. I realized that South Africa needs more chartered accountants, tax practitioners, and even mathematicians, if not statisticians, sorry. One day I was like, Botshelo, you love accounting, you love pure maths, so why not combine the two, Why not introduce a new way of learning mathematics and accounting? Because remember, an accounting class and pure maths class have always been like serious classes. I want teachers and learners to have that interaction thingy, let's make it fun. As much as these subjects are challenging, I admit, not hard but challenging, we should have fun, learn it better through different ways. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. I love that you've created such a different perspective for us this evening. Because in school, you're either a creative or you're sciencey and you love numbers.
Exactly.
And you're never allowed to just be both and love both. And that's where you come in. You've brought a way that you can merge these two worlds and kind of bring them together and show that it's fine for you to be a creative. You can be a creative and love writing and poetry and explore your creative side, but that doesn't mean you don't have to be good at maths and accounting as well. So I love that you've merged these two worlds, and you've also created a different learning style. And I think that's what we need to see more in our learning institutions and in schools as well, is learning to adapt and learning to allow students to learn in different ways and forms. And this would definitely appeal to creatives, and I really wish something like this existed when I was in high school, because I absolutely hated maths and accounting, and it was something that was daunting and intimidating for me as well. Now, some of the topics you actually cover are things like accounting, mathematics, yes, of course, but also things like income tax. Please talk to us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I do have, my second book is titled The Poetic Atmosphere of Income Tax. Now, unlike these ones, The Poetic Atmosphere of Income Tax is a book full of income tax poems, which aims to help struggling taxation students understand the subject, or rather module, better through poetry. So it's literally like the same thing. It's just that it's different subjects, or rather modules. Just like I mentioned earlier on, I really am sure that South Africa needs more tax practitioners. If you were to take the stats now and, look at the number of tax practitioners, or rather chartered accountants or mathematicians that we have, it's quite depressing. And I always say victory begins in the mind, guys. I feel like if you tell yourself that you can do this, then you'll definitely do it. Because most of my books, I made sure that there's an inspirational poem just before we get into the serious calculations, something like I will pass maths, tell yourself that, I got this. I'm Botshelo Mthomboti. I'll stand my ground. This is just a book and I have to practice. Yeah.
So like those positive affirmations to get you started before you even delve into the module. So I love that you're not just teaching in a different method and in a different way, but you're also helping them set a mindset before they look at this very intimidating equation and they look at it and they're just like, I can't do it. Before they've even approached it, you're already setting a positive mindset before they even get there. Now, being an author is absolutely not easy, especially when you've taken such a unique approach to something that a lot of people, like you said, find very boring and something that cannot be fun and exciting. But take us through the writing process, particularly about your book titled Black Child Transformed by Accounting.
Okay, so when I was writing this book, honestly speaking, I'm going to be honest, guys, it was challenging because I remember presenting this idea to a few chartered accountants. And I remember my mentor saying, Botshelo, you need to take a break from accounting because I can see that this thing is like getting to your mind. But then something just told me, Botshelo, your dreams don't have to make sense to anyone but you. So I went on with the idea, even though it was extremely challenging, because here am I introducing something that has never been done before. Not even like one person from an emerged economy like managed to come up with this idea. So yeah, I remember sacrificing because I was still a financial management student back then. So I had to find a balance between my schoolwork and writing, which was quite hard. Honestly, it was hard. And also raising funds, they wanted, I think it was 6,000. Where was I going to get the 6,000? So thank God a few generous people, they donated towards this amazing book. My mentor, Mr. D, hope you're watching this. And my uncle. I just added a few rands, not much, but yeah.
I mean, what an incredible journey. And I think your story can inspire so many young people. And young people in South Africa, like you said, there's so much of untouched and there's so much of hidden talent in South Africa amongst young people. And I think you're the true epitome of that. Is even though there were people who didn't believe in your dreams, you believed in it more. And I love that you said, no, I still believe in my dream and I'm still going to do it. And I think we need more young people to take from that lesson from you and say, even though somebody said no to me, I'm still saying yes. So I really love that. I mean, we wouldn't have something as innovative as this if you didn't continue to believe in yourself. And that's the kind of potential we can harness in young people when we give them empowering books like this. We can harness so much of potential, and you never know what innovative ideas they're going to bring to the industry and bring to the field to make it easier for more young people to pave the way and come in and join the industry as well. What I also want to talk about is, yes, your books are designed and your inspiration came from wanting to allow students to adapt better to mathematics and accounting and to love numbers as much as you do, and to show them that they are capable of being able to be successful in this particular subjects that are usually very daunting and very stressful for a lot of students. Can you share with us some success stories or some feedback that you might have got from students who have had the opportunity to read your book or to benefit from your book as well?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I'm not just going to base it on students. I'm just going to base it on the whole community. So last year in 2023, I was blessed by the presence of UK journalist, channels, television news from the UK and Nigeria. So you can just imagine that this book is becoming like an international thing, They came all the way to Soshanguve, which is like a crime-related area, There's no much of a inspiration there. And I just found that very profound, if I may say. Okay. Secondly, I do have teachers who've reached out to me and they use these books during an accounting, income tax and pure maths class. And learners learn better through poetry, I also have students who've reached out to me. They purchase these books and their grades get better, and that's what I want to see, because we are we are in short of such skills in South Africa. Remember, South Africa is one of like the emerging economies, so there's no much of an inspiration. So I feel like Botshelo's craft is there to like convince as many learners as possible to venture into accounting. Have you noticed that I'm starting with accounting because that's my favorite? Anyway, I'm not bashing pure maths, but yeah, accounting remains my favorite. So I want learners to venture into accounting, chartered accountancy to be precise, to be tax practitioners, and also statisticians, if not mathematicians.
I can absolutely feel your passion for accountancy just from sitting here, and I love to see people who are passionate and who love doing what they want to do. And that's exactly the kind of energy we need in South Africa amongst young people. You got to love what you do, and you can absolutely choose a career path that you love. And the biggest question we're actually getting from our audience right now is, how do we get a copy? So before we let you go, please do share all the information on how we can absolutely get a copy of your books.
Okay, so I am actually still trying to reach a fair deal with bookstores. However, also it's important for me to mention that two of my babies, the first one and the second one, which is the accounting one and the income tax one, they are approved by the Department of Basic Education. So very soon they'll be part of the library catalogs in schools, high schools. You can get my books directly from me. On Facebook, it's Botshelo Mthomboti. On Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Botshelo Mthomboti. Nothing changes. And my personal number is 071 325 0898. Or you can, alternatively, you can send us an email on poeticfinancebooks@gmail.com. So that's my company's email address.
Botshelo, it's absolutely amazing to see young women like yourself paving the way for the future of what education or what maths and accounting is deemed and what it's going to be. And you're really paving the way for such a bright future for not just South Africans, might we add. You are going international. And I have every faith that we're going to see these books on shelves all over the world, helping students and getting them through studies and then positively contributing towards the industry as well. Botshelo, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And most of all, thank you for transforming the way we look at things like accounting and mathematics. And thank you for your innovation and your creativity, and what you've brought to the table is so unique. And I know it's going to benefit so many students. So thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
It's been such a pleasure. Viewers at home, that is Botshelo. She is absolutely paving the way when it comes to innovation and what it means to be good at and understand accounting as well as mathematics. And if you are someone like me who struggled with math and accounting in school, this is absolutely what you need. So please do reach out to her on her social media platforms, whether you are currently a student or an educator or even a tutor. And if this is a resource you would like to introduce to your students to help them along their way and help them reach academic success, please do reach out to her on all her social media platforms. Pop her a DM, an email, a WhatsApp. Please do reach out to her as well. And if you're an educator or if you are a chartered accountant in a platform or space where you can uplift her and push her books further, please do also reach out to her. We do need to allow students more access to these kind of incredible resources.